Hey there, welcome to the Knitwits and Yarns YouTube channel. My name's Brendan and I'll be taking you through this interesting topic that has arisen due to the recent collaboration between We Are Knitters and Zara. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of the actual collaboration or either of the companies. I just want to use this as a learning tool. It's created a lot of division in the knitting community and I don't want to also add any fuel to the fire. I want to create a constructive conversation and a way that we can do better in the future as consumers and as companies. Full disclosure, I have worked with We Are Knitters in the past, so I want to try and come from a completely unbiased viewpoint. Hopefully you can see that I'm doing that. I don't want to shame them and I don't want to support them in what they've done. So hopefully you can see that I've done that. So let's get started. We Are Knitters is a huge knitting company in the world. They focus on slow fashion and sustainability. Zara is a global kind of fashion brand and they are a fast fashion brand. And the issue has arisen due to the knitting community questioning why We Are Knitters would collaborate with Zara. And I guess their queries are very valid. One of them is pretty much strictly slow fashion and the other one's all about fast fashion, and they're questioning how those two kind of align. And I think it's a really valid point that's been raised, and it's something that we need to think about, especially as a small brand myself. If I am to do collaborations in the future, I really need to start thinking about if my values do align with this company or with a company. And this situation or this series of events has made me reflect on that and look back and start to really question, because if in the situation that has happened, if it does go wrong, it can go very wrong. And I think that kind of scares me. I don't want to be creating any division. I want to be trying to inspire people, and I need to find companies that I can do that with. So the most important thing is to probably do your research. Specifically looking at the values that the company holds and comparing them to the values that you hold. So obviously not all companies are going to share the same values when they collaborate, but you need to think about how much those values actually mean to you and whether it's worth it. And I think the biggest thing that happened with the We Are Knitters thing is that you got to think about the consequences if it does go wrong and if it's worth the risk to do it. Some people love taking risks. Me personally, I do not. So I just try and take it pretty cruisy. So I want to give you an example of something that happened to me. I had a large American chain company message me and they wanted to collaborate. They wanted me to create some patterns for them. And I'm in Australia and I was a bit concerned that I might get negative feedback from working with such a big company. I've never used their yarn before, so I couldn't really judge. So I had to try and do some research. I messaged one of the knitting guys that I talked to in America, and he said they weren't as bad as what I was thinking, but he also made me question what my actual goal as a knitter was. And my goal as a knitter is to inspire people to knit and inspire knitters to continue knitting. And to do this, I need to provide simple patterns and use, I guess, cheaper yarns to give those people that entry into knitting that isn't so expensive, because knitting can be a very expensive hobby. But if I created these patterns out of this cheaper yarn, then it would give a great entry to some people who can't afford the more expensive stuff. And it was a great question because it allowed me to reevaluate, I guess, the collaboration. But in doing that, recently I started questioning whether I was trying to realign my values to meet this collaboration because it was such a big one. But I don't think that's the case. I strongly believe in opening up all avenues for knitters, and I wasn't trying to realign myself to get this collaboration and make myself feel better or not guilty about taking it. Turns out the company didn't do their research, and it was just for American and Canadian crafters, and being in Australia, I wasn't invited to do it. So I guess I didn't have to make that decision in the end, but it's important to do your research, and it's important to continually assess your values. I think that's the most important thing. And what we can learn from the We Are Knitters and the Zara collaboration is that what our values might be at the start might change to what they are now, and depends what our goals are. So let's try and keep this a constructive conversation. If you have any comments, chuck them in. Let's try and create questions rather than negative statements, because I want to open this up to us all, and I want to be able to hold those conversations where we're not feeling like we're attacking certain people or certain companies, and where we are trying to find a great medium in between. If you like this video, subscribe as well. I hopefully can make some more content like this. I would love to try and put my spin on different issues and different topic and try and turn it into an educational one. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and happy knitting.